So this is my second year farming on my own, and I have yet to do a farm equipment tour for you guys. Obviously, everything that I've bought I have made videos on, but I've never actually made a video showing everything together. So that's what we're gonna do today. So I have definitely accumulated probably more equipment than most 220 acre farmers. Now I do also farm about, oh gosh, I don't even remember what it is off the top of my head, like 125-ish acres of organic with my dad and my brother. So I'm actually closer to that 350 range total. But I also have 2 off-farm incomes, including the YouTube and the Acre GPS as well. So that's something you guys kind of got to remember as we go through my equipment list here. And some of the equipment that I use is actually not mine. My dad does let me use some of his stuff as well. So we're gonna start right here. This is my Challenger MT765 tractor. I think this is a 2003 model. When I first split off, I was trying to find a tractor that made sense for me. I was looking at like John Deere 4440s, later Soundguard tractors like the 50 series, 55 series. And the truth of the matter is, if you wanted a nice 40, 50, 55, 60 series Soundguard tractor, you were paying 40, 50, 60, even, you know, especially if you wanted a 60 series, sometimes you're paying $70,000 for these things. And I know when I made the video when I bought this tractor, I put a bunch of listings up, and it was insane how much these older tractors cost that really don't have the ability to do much of the newer stuff that we do, especially with like hydraulic flow and stuff like that. And then I found this Challenger. I think it was, I don't remember exactly how much I paid for it. It was either $40,000 or $45,000. So what some people are paying for their John Deere 4440s, I got a 300 horsepower Challenger 2-track tractor that actually has enough hydraulic flow. I can run modern implements, has enough horsepower. I can pull some pretty big things. And it's kind of a future-proofing tractor. I can really grow my operation and not have to change tractors. Now the cab's kind of dirty because we just finished planting. We're going to row crop cultivating here now, but pretty standard. I am running, being an Acre GPS dealer, obviously I have the ability to get some pretty cool technology. So I am running a John Deere G5 display here at the moment. I do have my G4 display that's from Europe as well. That's fully unlocked. That will be going in here fairly soon. It's not on the roof right now, but I typically run an Acre GPS CRG for RTK. And have some custom stuff in here, like this is a planter liquid controller, and I just took my precision monitor out. But I really do like this tractor. It's not as, how do I put this? It's not as smooth and as seamless as a John Deere is, but this thing is an absolute brute. It is built so heavy. And right now, if you pan back, we got the 60-foot row crop cultivator on it, which is technically my dad's, but that's like an 18,000 pound, no, probably 17,000 pound cultivator. And Cooper can attest, yesterday, this lifted the lift assist wheels right off the ground. Like there's no way a John Deere from the same time period could do that. Now, like I mentioned, I actually don't own this, but it is used on the organic acres and is something that my tractor, is kind of one of the other reasons I bought this tractor, because I knew it would work good for this. This is my dad's 60-foot John Deere 856 row crop cultivator. It's not a John Deere bar, it's a custom built bar with the John Deere units on it. But this thing is an absolute beast. Like I said, it's super heavy, able to cultivate 60 foot at a time. And with the RTK guidance that I have on the tractor, we're actually able to not have to steer and not take out 60 foot of crop at the same time. So I'm able to watch Netflix while I row crop cultivate, which is something that I know a lot of people that used to row crop cultivate back in the day would be kind of amazed by. So I'm sharing this shed with my dad and my brother, so not everything in here is mine. But this is my Fast 7400 sprayer. It is a 1,600 gallon tank from 90-foot boom. I actually bought this one from my uncle on my mom's side. He farms southeast of us here a little bit into Iowa. And I absolutely love this sprayer. Before I split off, my dad and my brother We had a brand new fast 9524T, I think, 2,400 gallon tank on tracks, cap sand PWM system. It was awesome. Last year, Fast demoed me a 9518 sprayer. I think it was 9518. A 90-foot boom, 1,800 gallon tank on wheels. I absolutely love that. And they offered me a good price to buy it, but for my acres, it was just still a little bit too much. But I want to stay with Fast because Fast is local to us. They're, I don't know, probably 40 minutes away. So really easy to get parts. The service is great. The Fast family, they're very renowned farmers as well. So for the fact that they farm, they test out their equipment that they build on their farm before they bring it to market. Super cool family. So I wanted to stay with Fast. This is a 2005 model. And even though this thing is 20 years old, it is amazing how well it still performs. It has hydraulic controls, but there's no automatic controls for the booms. And this thing is rock solid going over tile ditches, hills, anything you can think of. And being that it's a 1,600 gallon tank, even if I'm spraying something like Liberty, where I need 20 gallons per acre, my biggest field that's like 10 miles away is 72 acres. So I can actually fill this here at the shop, drive to the field, spray, and come back and not have to continually tender myself. The only field that I will ever have to refill part way is the one that's a half-mile away, is 111 acres. So if I'm spraying 20 gallons per acre there, I'll have to refill, but it's a half-mile away. I'll just fold it up and bring it back in the yard. So being a one-guy crew, not having to have a tender truck follow me around everywhere, really nice. I paid 12 grand for the sprayer, which if you look on Facebook Marketplace, that's probably a little bit more than some people are asking. But this one came from my uncle. He did an awesome job maintaining it. I know he was changing the grease in the hubs. The booms are in excellent condition. Usually these older sprayers, the bottom of these booms are just completely rusted out from people not cleaning them properly after they get done spraying, from spraying 32%, not rinsing it off afterwards. And this one's not, I mean, you can just see, I mean, there's a little bit of surface rust like around this mount, but the rest of the boom is just super nice. So I was willing to pay a couple extra thousand than what you typically see these things for, just because this one's so nice. And it had a brand new pump on it too. So definitely been taken good care of. And pulling it is a John Deere 4230. Now this is not mine, this is my dad's. It's just kind of the little, I don't know, for the last 5 or 6 years, it's been a little yard tractor. Basically, it's run a grain vac, and it's pulled a couple of like gravity wagons full of fines. Gets like 10 hours of use on it a year. And my dad said, hey, if you have anything you need to use a 4230 for, please do, because I want to get more use out of it, so that way it doesn't have issues and rot like some tractors can when they're sitting. So I said, yeah, I think I can pull my sprayer with it. So it's not in there right now, but the G5 display will be coming out of my cat tractor. It'll be going in here for the mapping. The sprayer is just controlled. Actually, just come around and go in the cab. The sprayer is controlled with a Raven 440 display. So, got the rate controller right here, and then I have it connected to a John Deere display, which goes right here typically. And that will map for me so I can put it on Operations Center. And here's the boom control. So, very simple setup, just manual section control, which is perfectly fine with me for the amount of acres that I do. And the 4230, if you get this thing full, it's a little bit under horsepower, but for not having to pay for a second tractor, it works fine. Walking around the tile plow here that my dad has, this is my planter. I'm pretty proud of this thing. This is a late 80s John Deere 7300 planter. So it's a Max Emerge 2. So it'd be the same as like a 7200, that'd be the pull type. So I bought this for 6,500 bucks. It had air down pressure, it had rebuilt parallel arms with bushings in them, and it came with corn, soybean discs, and if we walk around to the backside, I know it's probably kind of dark in here. We filming this on a kind of a dark, gloomy, rainy day, because that's about the only time you can really do it. It has the Case IH Copycat closing wheels, which I absolutely love these things. This year I did do a comparison between the John Deere style and the case, and didn't see much of a difference. But I just really like the way that this packing, or the discs close in that trench and the packing wheel kind of packs it on top. So last year I used it just as I bought it. It had lift assist wheels coming out the back, and it did not have the tanks on it or anything. And it had 2 vacuums on it, which for a 12-row planter is kind of weird. I don't know why you would ever need 2 vacuums on a 12-row planter. And it worked okay. I definitely had a couple issues with it. One being that the wings didn't really have enough weight, so they were kind of, well, the whole planter didn't have enough weight. So when I put 150 pounds of down pressure on the units, it just lifted the 3-point up. So this year, I had a good welding friend of mine who's currently working on my combine right now. He added this extra bracing on the bar. He added the weights on it. He brought it from 2 vacuums down to 1 because I just don't know why you need 2 vacuums on a 12-row planter. And then he also added these weight brackets here on the end. So I can actually put a lot of down pressure down on my units now. The bar doesn't move. I have in-furrow liquid. Overall, I haven't actually got the bill for the welding yet because we're gonna exchange some camera work with his new truck, which is freaking awesome, for some of the work that he did. But I'm guessing I probably got about 10 grand invested in this planter. And last year it grew 240 bushel corn on corn. So pretty dang good. So these are the original boxes that came with it, the old fiberglass boxes. They look like they're pretty rough, but this is gonna make some of you guys cringe, like nails on a chalkboard. Fiberglass, the boxes are actually in good shape. Like I'm not getting splinters from doing that. So I use these ones for soybeans. We got the box extensions on them. Now, I know that this one is a late 80s model because it has the very first vacuum meters on it. If we come around here, if I open the lid and you kind of take a peek inside, I'll turn the flashlight on. There is 2 here, I'll hold it here for a second. There's 2 holes down there. So that's the very first style of the John Deere vacuum meters. And unfortunately, this style, there's really no upgrade path for. You can't upgrade them to Precision E-sets. You can't upgrade them to the John Deere Pro Max 40 discs for corn. All you can really run for corn is these standard corn discs, which were never really known for being that great for singulation. You had a lot of doubles, and they were really picky on seed size. I wanted something that was better for singulation, something that didn't really care about seed size. I really wanted Precision E-sets, and I couldn't upgrade these, so I started looking on Facebook Marketplace, and I got really lucky because about an hour away, I found a guy that was selling 12 rows worth of poly boxes with Precision E-set meters already on them. I did a little bit of rebuilding on them last year, but I paid $100 a piece, and I included that in the 10 grand total that I have like spent on that planter. And these things are awesome. The singulation that I had this year was amazing. It's also really nice just to have 2 different boxes, one for corn, one for soybeans, that way you're not switching the meters around. So when I switch from corn to soybeans, it's just take the boxes off, put the different boxes on, change the population and go. So the one thing that was a little bit weird was that the poly boxes have a different mounting system than the fiberglass boxes. And they do make adapters, but then you can't put the fiberglass boxes on. So what I did was I 3D printed my own adapters to go on the poly boxes themselves. That way I can actually use the poly boxes and the fiberglass boxes interchangeably. It's not perfect, but it works pretty dang good, and it does allow me to not have to take like the metal brackets with bolts on and off every time I want to switch over. So this is my tender trailer. This is my dad's semi. It's just currently on it because mine's being used to haul grain. This is kind of their spare anyways. So he's letting me borrow it for the summer, but I don't really have any like water storage tanks or anything. So I do have this tender trailer. When I'm spraying, it typically just kind of sits here, and if I need to go get water from town, I'll go get water, come back, and I got an induction cone in it. It has 2 2,500 gallon tanks, induction cone, a space for a couple of totes in the back. I paid $1,500 for this on auction. It was 20 minutes away. The trailer, I mean, it's okay. It's obviously seen better days. Like, it's pretty rusted out, but it was so dang cheap, but it pulls nice. A couple of tires are rotten on it, but I found actually the guy I bought my house from, he drives truck, and I asked him if he had any spare tires sitting around. He said, yeah, I got a pile of those tires, so put a couple of those ones on for free, and it's been a good little trailer. Kind of a mess in there right now because I was using this for planting, so I was filling my planter tanks up with it. But yeah, it's a decent little trailer. Like I said, $1,500. If I was to ever expand farming a lot and I really needed a nice tender trailer, I would definitely probably take the tanks out of here and either build my own trailer or buy a different one. But for now, this works pretty good, and it was really cheap. Now I do actually own 2 sprayers. This is my John Deere 6000 high cycle. Honestly, these things are kind of what built the channel, because I own this one, and technically I actually own half of another one that's at my brother's place. We're not gonna go look at that one today. But between my dad, brother, and I, we have four of these things. 3 6000s and 1 6500. I don't really use it, now that I have the pull behind, I don't really use this a ton. I do use it for broadcasting 32% on my corn ground, because 32% is just so corrosive, and that sprayer is just so nice. This one has seen a lot of use. It's definitely not the most perfect sprayer in the world. I've done some tank saddle repairs on it. Pump blew out on it this year. In fact, that's something I should probably do this weekend, is get that hose fixed, the agitation hose. And the booms have definitely seen better days, and they're pretty rusty, so I just kind of use this for broadcasting 32%. And then this year with the high yield corn trial, they want me to do some foliar feeding. I'll probably use this for that trial as well. Probably just kind of live out on that field, to be honest, for the rest of the year. My same thing, nothing too fancy. Got a Raven 440, the same as the cab, and the 4230. What I used for that sprayer, if we crawl up here, these things are kind of fun to drive, honestly. They got a 4-speed on the floor transmission, super light in the front end. You can pop a wheelie like none other. Boom height controls. From the factory, you had 2 valves right here, left boom, right boom, and that's how you would control the flow. But of course, it's been modernized a little bit, so we got a rate controller in here now with the plumbing right there on the back, so it's really easy to access. 60-foot booms. Otherwise, yeah, not much about this. I did have a rebuild when I bought this. I did a bunch of work to it, so I kind of have like a 2 or 3 part rebuild series from last year. You guys can check out if you want. But yeah, that's the old high cycle. Probably gonna keep this thing until it dies. So this is something I actually haven't used yet. This is my Brent 670 grain cart, so a 600 bushel grain cart. When I was looking for grain carts, I really wanted something that the 4230 could possibly handle. It would be a bit of a load for a 4230 for sure. But as long as you don't fill it all the way full, it should be fine. And I might use my tractor. My dad might let me use his 8410 T2. I'm not for sure yet. But so I wanted something that, you know, kind of fit my farm. So 600 bushel grain cart kind of did. And then I also wanted something that had a scale on it, because I want to be able to track the bushels that are coming off the field accurately without having to go measure bins. So that's what this is. This has a scale on it. I plan on putting probably a LibreCart system on it, so that way we can record everything on an iPad, make it really simple. But yeah, like I said, I don't know much about it. I bought it, I was told it works. He dropped it off for me, and I moved it back here, and it's been sitting here ever since. We have our brush pile right here, and my dad almost started on fire one day, so that was pretty fun. It used to sit back there, but yeah, so I think it'll work pretty good. The guy that I bought it from seemed really nice. I know he had done some work to it. The one thing about these 670s that they later fixed in the later models was down here in the gearbox. This one has a chain drive. So if we get down in here, underneath here there's a chain drive. And in the newer models, I'm pretty sure they went to a gearbox drive. And I know he said sometimes that chain can act up a little bit down there, but for a little bit I'm harvesting, I guess I'm not too terribly worried about it. So I think I bought the sprayer 2 years ago. I paid $8 grand for that. What did I pay for that? I honestly don't remember. $8,500 maybe? either 6,500 or 8,500. One of those is, I don't know, it was one of the two. It wasn't much for a grain cart. So this is my newest piece of farm equipment. I guess the two kind of combined are. This is my 2014 Peterbilt 579 semi-truck. Now, when I first started farming on my own, I was like, I don't need a semi-truck. I ended up buying a gravity wagon, which we'll look at later. And my fields are just far enough away from where I store my grain. The gravity wagon just didn't really work very well. So I started looking at semis. I was trying to find like a mid to late 90s Mack, like the one that's on the tender trailer that my dad has. I love that truck. The problem is that with all the emission stuff that has come up here in the past 15 years, anything that's pre-emissions brings a large premium, especially in the semi-trucks. There was some 1995 Mack semis that had 600,000 or 700,000 miles on them that people were asking, if they were in good shape, people were asking 30,000 for them. And if they were in bad shape, people were asking 15,000 for them, which just seemed insane to me for a truck that's 30 years old, asking that much money. So I looked for months trying to find a semi-truck that made sense. I couldn't find one. And then I found this. Actually, I think my dad sent it to me in Marketplace. 2014 Peterbilt 579, has 500,000 miles on it, and they're asking 20. And it's actually like really, really good shape. There's hardly any rust on the frame, a little bit on the fifth wheel plate, which is pretty normal. But sometimes you see these fleet trucks and they're just covered in rust from one end to the other. And the company that owned it before me was based out of Michigan, but I think this truck was mostly used in Indiana, so I don't think it saw much salt in its life. And these trucks are known to be pretty reliable. The only thing is that there's two different engine options. You could either get the Packer MX-13 or a Cummins engine. I don't remember which one, but the Cummins is known to be more reliable. The Packer's kind of hit or miss. I do the Packer engine. It runs really good. I have had no problems with it. I've actually used it quite a bit over the past 3-4 months, but I'm not putting that many miles on it a year. If I put 5,000 miles on it a year, I'd be amazed. So for what I'm doing, for the price, it just kind of made sense to go the newer route. And it's not been deleted, so we still have the DEF and all the emission stuff on it, which I know can also be a weak spot on these trucks, but hasn't acted up on me yet. So hopefully, knocking on wood, this truck treats me well. The tires are in really good shape on it. I did put 2 new ones on because it kind of had one set of brand new and 3 of not new. I wanted 2 new sets across from each other so they didn't wear funny. But yeah, so I don't know, I probably have like 21,000 invested in this truck with insurance and the new tires and stuff. And then pulling it, or behind it here, this is my Wilson grain trailer. It's a 2013, yeah, the truck's a 2014, the trailer's a 2013. I bought this from my brother. My brother bought it from our neighbors who bought it brand new. So it's had a good life. The last 2 owners have taken really good care of it. It kind of needs a wash right now. I've been hauling with it the last few nights, but you know, it's a 40 or 41 foot, I don't remember, Wilson grain trailer, ag hoppers. I feel like there's really not much to say about it. It's a grain trailer. What did I pay for this? I want to say I paid $29 for it, I think. And what's really nice too is last fall before harvest, before my dad and my brother used it for the last time, they actually replaced all the hub seals, new hub oil, and they kind of like rebuilt the whole rear end of this trailer. So for a little bit I'm using it, this trailer should last me a very long time. So being that I am sharing the shed, the shop, and the whole grain setup with my dad and my brother, my stuff kind of gets spread around a little bit. So this is sitting outside right now, but that's just because we used it very recently. This is my Hudson Beekler, I think. I'm not quite for sure. Tine weeder, otherwise they call it a comb harrow overseas. This is kind of my contribution to the organic farming because, you know, my dad, brother, and I, we all farm the organic together. But my dad, the main tractor that's used for the organic is this 8410T. My dad owns that. There's 2 24-row cultivators, a 12-row, and a 6-row cultivator. My dad owns all those. My dad and my brother typically plant it. They typically combine it. This year I'll probably end up combining the soybeans. But yeah, so my tractor gets used for the row crop cultivating, and then also I bought this. This is kind of my contribution. So it's a 60-foot tine weeder. This is used more early season weeding, because obviously we can't use herbicides. So the goal or idea of it is that there's all these tines back here, and these things sit here and they vibrate back and forth like this as you're going along. And any little tiny weeds, or if a weed seed has germinated, you know, maybe it hasn't popped up out of the ground, but the roots have started to establish under the ground, this will hopefully disturb everything enough that you can kill a lot of those little tiny little things. So yeah, if you get a weed that starts to get a few inches tall, this is probably not the tool to get it. But like right now, it's what, May 20th-ish, pretty close, where the crop is just starting to emerge, but a lot of the weeds haven't yet. This is kind of a tool to use. And what's really cool is a previous owner, a large organic farm south of us, they painted every tine red. That is where the crops are on 30-inch rows. So if the crops get a little bit taller and we want to use this, we can just remove these tines, and then we can actually go in standing crop. I'm not for sure what the white ones are. I don't remember exactly. We can call them and ask. We got their phone number, but yeah, kind of a neat unit. I know in the video I made of me using this for the first time, I mentioned that it was built kind of light, and some of you guys are kind of mad at me for saying that because over in Austria and Germany and wherever else they use these, they're typically using a 100 to 150 horsepower tractor. Here in the US, there's not many 100 to 150 horsepower tractors, especially that can lift this. So a lot of people are using 250 to 350 horsepower tractors on these things. And typically they're 2 tracks too. So definitely a little bit of a different environment, but I still wish it was built a little bit heavier than what it is. But it is kind of a neat tool, and hopefully it helps us out early season on the organic. This is our first year running it, so don't know much about it. This is my newest piece of equipment. I think I said earlier my semi-truck was. I forgot about this. This is a 2021 model, I believe. Yep, year of construction, 2021. Comb harrow, that's what they call it. So, yeah, kind of a neat little piece. I think I paid, it was either $18 or $18.5 for it. My gosh, we're just, all the noise is happening. They're unloading the grain bin, you got trucks driving by. Anyways, yeah, you guys will be seeing more of this on the channel here in the future. So now we're in one of our smaller outdoor sheds here. And this is the first piece of equipment that I ever got. My grandpa gave this to me when, oh boy, I had to have been like 12, 13 years old. Not very old. This is a Ford 1720. I think I looked it up once. I think it's like a 1989, 88, 89 model. I don't think it was quite the 90s yet. Like 27 raw engine horsepower. I think it's like 23 drawbar or something. You can look it up, but this is the greatest little tractor. These things are so reliable. It has a short wheelbase, it's 4-wheel drive, maneuvers really well, has good traction. Basically gets used for 2 things now. I've got this 4-row planter. I bought this probably about a year after I got the tractor. Literally pulled it out of the grove. It was a 4-row 36-inch. And as a 4-H project, my dad and I, well, mostly my dad, let's be honest, we cut the frame down, welded it back together. In fact, actually, you want to hand me the camera here? You can still kind of see right here where he cut the frame off and then moved everything over, welded it back together. Completely sandblasted the whole thing, painted it, new bearings, a lot of new parts. And this is kind of my pride and joy for quite a, I mean, it still is. I love, I'm never gonna sell this tractor, never gonna sell this planter. The planter isn't quite as nice as it used to be because it gets used like a lot. In fact, actually in a previous video, I went out and I replanted some soybeans with this. But for, growing up, especially on wetter years where we had drownouts and stuff like that, I'd come to the farm and, I was maybe 13, 14, 15, and there wouldn't be much for me to do. So if we ever had a lot of replanting to do, my dad would give me a list of fields and kind of draw little maps and be like, go out, say, send me a few bags of seed, and I'd go out all day and I'd plant corn. I mean, I've had to have planted close to 100 acres with this 4.0 by now over the years. And even today, my dad and my brother, if they have little things need to replant, they will borrow this little 4.0 from me. So I eventually wanted to completely rebuild it again because like we didn't put new gauge wheels on it. We found some old opening discs. It needs new gauge wheel arms. I would like to put the newer style closing thing on it. Eventually I do want to spend some money on this. Just doesn't make sense right now. Right now I'm trying to be financially responsible and grow my farm and doing a bunch of work to a planter that is just using for replants, and it does fine for that. So the tractor is also used for, I got a small snow blower for it that I use at my house during the winter. So this is what I use for blowing snow. My dad used to use, so back when I lived with my parents, my dad did not have a yard tractor, so he used mine. So my dad has a bunch of attachments for it too. We got a finishing mower for it. My dad has a tiller for it. And he has since bought his own yard tractor now that I have moved out. So it doesn't get used for all that stuff anymore, but yeah, it used to kind of be my dad's main little yard tractor too, back when I was living with him. So absolutely love this little thing. I built this rock box for it in high school in my welding class. It had a weight bracket on before, but then I kind of added some weights to the side. The only real thing that we've done to it, a couple things. First of all, the muffler fell off, so we have an aftermarket muffler on it. And then when we first got it, it had a really bad issue of blow-by. I mean, there would be a trail of oil everywhere you went. And Ford came out with a little fix kit. It cost like 20 bucks. They put it in, and oil consumption and oil blow-by has not been an issue since. And we also added the hydraulics. It did not have hydraulics when we first got it. So this is something I'm pretty proud of too. This is a little Honda Recon 250. So I think it's like it's a 2002 model. Now my agronomist that you guys have seen in the videos, this was originally theirs. They bought this brand new in 2002. And I bought it, I probably bought it in 24, I think. I think I bought it in 24, 23 or 24. So for 21 years, this four-wheeler was used and abused by college and high school kids every single year. When I worked for them, we rode the crap out of these things. Definitely did not take the best care of them, what scouts do with their equipment. And I paid 300 bucks for it. And it still ran and drove, but not great. I put a $20 carb rebuild kit in it. And then I think I put a new clutch in it myself. I actually have a video up on that as well when I first bought this. The clutch probably was a few $100. I think I have like $500-600 total into this. And it is still to this day the best running thing that we got. In fact, it'll probably, it's a little colder today, I might need the choke, I might not. Nope, started right up. This thing's incredible. For being 20 years old and just ridden the absolute piss out of for 20 years. It did need a little bit of choke to get going, but I kind of converted it into making field boundaries. So it's really dirty right now, but I got a monitor mount on here, I got a GPS mount on here, and then I currently have the harness in the sprayer tractor, but if I need to go make boundaries, this is what I use. It was cheap and it works really good. I don't do it in the winter because it'd be cold, but in the spring, summer, and fall, this works fantastic. And then I also have a little 15-gallon tank I put in the back of it if I need to go spray some fence lines or something. I also use a high boy for that every once in a while. If I have a fence line I need to spray, I just turn the 15-foot section on the end and go around the edge of the field. And then there's also another four-wheeler over here. Technically my dad owns this one, but he hasn't used it in a really long time, ever since he started buying UTVs. And it needs a little bit of work. This is a 97 Honda Foreman 400. It does run and drive. It needs an oil change, and the cooling fan sensor stopped working. Very common on these. So I need to put air in the tires, need to change the oil, probably put fresh gas in it. And I also want to make the cooling fan controlled by a switch. So if I'm driving around, moving around, I don't need it on, but if I'm like picking rocks or something with it, I can flip that switch and have that cooling fan constantly running. So this is something that we haven't seen much in the videos. I don't know, actually I don't even know if ever, but I was planning on getting it running this year and using it, and then time kind of got away from me and I ended up using my dad's Gator for rock picking. But this summer I want to get this probably back to my house, get it taken apart, work on it and get it running so that way I can use it in the future. So this is another cultivator that we have. Again, this is my dad's. I don't own this, but it is something you guys see in the video, so I thought I'd touch on it. Maybe try and get as much of it in the frame as you possibly can. This is a B&H cultivator. So this was probably one of the first 60-foot cultivators ever on the market. B&H was kind of an innovator with the larger row crop equipment back in the day. And this one's really weird. If you kind of come over here, it folds very different. So the 3 points down here, the left-hand side is just a flat fold, and then the right-hand side folds twice, up and then around and over top. So it's kind of cool to see this thing unfold. The switch box for it is kind of neat too, because back in the day they didn't have 5 hydraulic SCVs on every tractor. So this is just a single sweep. So I think it's a John Deere 856 unit again. Single sweep cultivator. We don't use this one a ton. We do use it later in the season though, if needed. Last year we used it in soybeans. Also has lift assist, because same thing. 60-foot row crop cultivator is insanely heavy. We haven't actually weighed this one like we have the other one, but yeah, kind of a neat unit. Once again, I don't own it, but you guys do see it in the videos every once in a while, so I thought I'd touch on it. So we made a trip over to, this is the old original farm place for my family. It's kind of been half abandoned now. This used to be the shop, and now it's just kind of a cold storage shed that's falling apart a little bit. It's not terrible. And then I store my grain here and stuff, but earlier I was talking about a gravity wagon. I know it's gonna be kind of dark in here, but this is the gravity wagon that I bought last year before I bought my semi. It's a Brent 644. I don't know what year it is. I'm actually gonna take a picture of this serial number before I leave here. I'm gonna contact Brent and figure out what year this is, because this is gonna be for sale. I would like to sell this wagon. It's a really, really nice wagon. It just didn't really fit my operation well, with not really having a great wagon pulling tractor and just being spread out enough. It made my harvest kind of inefficient for the way that I'm set up. But I know it'll make someone a really good wagon. So I gotta clean it up yet. But the thing is actually really nice. Bought it probably about a year ago. I think the crops are pretty small yet, so probably about a year ago. I paid 12 grand for it. It has a nice truck tires on it. Got some homemade fenders with the really nice fenders, mud flaps. The rear mud flaps are broken. I will get new mud flaps ordered for it. Lights, brakes. It does not have a tarp, but very straight. You can pull it down the road at 45 miles per hour, no problem. So yeah, so if you are interested in buying a Brent 644, I'll figure out what year it is. But yeah, down in the description is a link to my website where there's a contact button. In South Central Southwest Minnesota, if you're interested, let me know. I'd like to get 12 grand out of it, because I maybe hauled 4,000 bushel fit last year, because after a while I just borrowed my dad's semi. Here's the 12-row cultivator that I mentioned. That's my dad's. And back here, it's gonna be pretty dark, but this is my Fast Ag Solutions 8100 liquid side dress applicator. So this is what I use to apply nitrogen to my corn mid-season. Some people like to put all their nitrogen on in the fall with anhydrous and then just let it ride for the next spring. I like to do split apply, because you never know what the weather's gonna do. If you have large rain events, you can lose a lot of your nitrogen. So I like to broadcast some before I plant And then I like to come back with this and side dress mid-season. So actually this will be coming out probably the next week or so to start working on it. So I'm gonna do my own corn. And then I also bought this to do custom application. So I got a couple neighbors around here that I'm gonna do a few hundred acres for. And then there's also a possibility of me traveling a little bit this year and doing some more acres. But it's a pretty simple unit. It's just, it is a 24 row, so 60 foot. But what's nice about it is there's 2 sets of wings. If you just unfold the first set, it's a 16 row. And if you unfold the second set, it's a 24 row. And they're way up in the air right now, so you can't get to them, but there's little valves. So you can physically make it a 16 row or 24 row, which is nice because one of the guys that I do some custom applicating for has a 16 row planter. So I turn it to 16 row, and the other guy has a 24 row planter. So I put it to 24. But pretty simple unit. I think this is like a 2004 model. It's literally just a disc and a nozzle jet behind it. So it makes a little slit in the ground, and then it shoots the nitrogen down in it, kind of protects it a little bit. I do try to do this within a couple days of a rainstorm, just to help that nitrogen get incorporated into the soil, because if it sits on top for too long, you can lose it, which is something obviously you don't want to do, because nitrogen is super expensive, especially this year. But I think this is also a this is also a 1,600 gallon tank. I'm pretty sure it's the exact same tank. I think it's the same tank and frame, to be honest, as my pull behind sprayer. Just rather than having the boom in the back, it has all this up here in the front. So same thing, controlled by a rate controller, Raven 440. I love those old Raven 440 rate controllers. This is 3 sectioned. Not much else about it. It's an older unit, but it still does the job it needs to do. Eventually, once these things are starting to get a little bit wore out. They still got a few years left in them, but eventually when they do, I'm thinking about converting this to a Y drop. I do have some Y drops, some Yield 360 Y drops sitting in the box over at the other place. Be kind of neat to take all these off, put new Y drops on, because to replace a Coulter, you can put all new Coulter frames on them. Fast has come out with a new Coulter that is awesome. It's a high-speed Coulter. There's lots of adjustability with it. It has a really cool closing system to actually close that nitrogen trench down when you're done to prevent loss even further. But they are kind of expensive, and for an older bar like this, trying to save as much money as I can. If I farmed a couple thousand acres, I probably would no question do it, but I don't. So that is that. The one behind it, that's my dad and my uncle's. I don't have any part in that one. But if we turn around here, and I don't know how well the camera's gonna pick it up, it's doing okay, it looks like. I have 2 corn heads. So they're both the same model. They're both John Deere 643 corn heads. This one back here is the one that I had last year. This is the first one I bought. I literally pulled this one out of a grove. I think I paid $1,700 for it. Went in the guy's grove to get it out. And I rebuilt a lot of it. I put new chains on it. I put new rollers on it. Actually, I found a really nice set of used rollers, stock rollers for it. The deck plates are really nice. I put new sprockets on it. And it works really good, actually. However, I do think that, I think it's this one. I do think this gearbox is broken on it. At the very end, it worked throughout the entire year, but when I finished the field, there's a lot of tinging noises coming from right here, and I think the shaft that holds the stock roller on is broken internally. However, I had a neighbor reach out to me who watches some of my videos. He's like, hey, I have an old 643 gearbox sitting in the corner of my shed. I'll sell it to you pretty cheap. It's been in there for years, and we don't have that corn head anymore. So I do plan on trying to remove a gearbox this year and putting in that one and then getting that one rebuilt to keep it as a spare. So Cooper, we're probably gonna learn together how to replace a gearbox, because do you have any idea how to replace a gearbox?
Not an idea.
Yeah, I don't either. So that's something where if we have enough time this year, we'll probably play around with that. Because that one was broke, I bought this one because I bought this one before I knew about the neighbor with the gearbox, but that's okay. It's always okay to have a spare corn head, especially when they're this cheap. Paid $1,700 for that one, probably have around $2,500 in that one total. I paid $5,000 for this one. This one is actually a little bit of an older head. So if you come back here, Cooper, if you look at the side profile, so this one is a high tin. You can see how the sides go up higher, and that one's a low tin. So that one, I believe, is newer because the high tin models were kind of older, but this one has been taken really good care of. The roller cones on it are actually pretty new. Like there's only a few seasons on these roller cones. When I went down to Iowa to the repair shop that was selling it on consignment for, unfortunately, a widow, her husband that used this passed away. They gave me like all the receipts of everything that had been done to it because they had done all the work on it for like the previous 10 years. And I think over like the last 8-10 years, he had spent like $8,000 repairing this corn head. So between the roller cones, the chains are good, the deck plates are good, the stock rollers are in pretty dang good shape. Good enough for the amount of acres that I have anyways. This one also has the ear saver, which I'm tempted to buy one for that corn head too, because these corn heads are known to kind of throw ears out of the auger and onto the ground. I saw a little bit last year, not much, but it is kind of nice to see the ear saver on there because it's not hurting anything. It will protect ears from leaving the corn head. The auger is the only thing on this one that's probably not quite as nice as the other corn head, but I could still get years and years of use out of it. Worst case scenario, I end up just using that head over there as a parts head, and I can probably swap the augers over pretty easily. But yeah, a lot of people make comments about me using 6-row heads on a John Deere 8820, which back in the day was built for a 12-row head. But in the 80s, not many people were harvesting 250 bushel corn either. So the 6-row head actually works pretty good. It just barely covers the width of the combine, and being the fact that those old combines don't have very big grain tanks on them, I think mine's probably around 250. If I had an 8-row head, I wouldn't be able to make a full round. In fact, I don't even think I'm able to make a full round of a 6-row head if we have good crops. So there's really no use for me having an 8-row head because I can't use it anyways. And this is kind of my pride and joy here. This is my John Deere Turbo 8820 combine. It's a 1980 model. This kind of has become the staple of the channel, to be honest. It used to be the high cycle sprayers, but now this thing's kind of taken over. I absolutely love this combine. When I first went off on my own, the idea was to not buy a combine and just keep harvesting with my dad and my brother and then do everything else myself. But I was like, no, if I want to go out on my own, I want to go out on my own. I want to be able to do everything. I don't want to have to rely on other people for different things. And buying a bigger combine, well, I could have bought a 9600 or like a 9660 or something. I mean, they're not that much more expensive. These are just so cheap, and I kind of have a lot of, I don't have memories of the combine, but I have a lot of memories of my dad telling stories about back in the day when he had a Turbo 8820 in the mid 80s to early mid 90s. I think he had his 8820 until 91, I think it was. So anyways, yeah, and in my dad's office, there's a couple pictures of the 8820s, and he would always tell me stories. And he said it was the first combine that he drove that actually had power to actually do something. And they are a beast. I mean, these 8820s, even today's standards, I mean, 25-foot, 30-foot bean head, 6 or 8-row corn head. I mean, these things, while it looks physically small, they can still put a lot of grain through them. In fact, actually, the feeder house on the 8820s, this is the same size feeder house that they have up through the S790. So it wasn't until now the X9 where they actually increased the width and volume of the feeder house. So like I could go hook on to, if I had the different style hooks on it, I could hook on to any newer John Deere corn head. I wouldn't be able to run the hydraulics on it, but I'd be able to hook onto it physically and power it up. And these were the first combines that were able to run a 12-row head from John Deere. So anyways, yeah, this is a 1980 model. It's got 4,600 hours on it now, I want to say. And these don't have a separate engine or separator hours. It's just total hours. So it's 4,600. I'm guessing probably upper 2s, lower 3s if you want to talk about separator. It's been a pretty good rig. It's had a few upgrades done to it. I put new tires on it last year. And then I just got it back from my welding buddy's place. We attached this chaff spreader to it because I had some issues last year with spreading the soybean straw. And then he also custom built this pan to help direct all the chaff down into the spreader. On the feeder house up there, you probably saw the top, there's like holes in the top. I typically have a fan, a dust diverter up there. I have that off right now, I'm getting that fixed. If we go to this side, so in I think 79 was the first year of the 8820, and then 79 and 80, and then in 81 they came out with a couple upgrades. They added 25 horsepower to them. So this one, in terms of 8820s, this one's actually less horsepower. But the other thing that they did was they increased the size of the clean grain elevator. Because it was a bottleneck. The 8820s, you could bring in so much grain, you were blowing the belts on these things, you're plugging them up. So the previous owner did install a post-1981 clean grain elevator. So it does have the bigger clean grain elevator on there. But it's so cool to see these old combines, just how mechanical they all are. I mean, just belts everywhere. I mean, some of these belts way back here, if you want to remove them, you got to remove like 4 or 5 other belts first. Thank goodness I haven't had too many issues with belts yet. Most of them are still in pretty good shape. This one way in the back looks like it can maybe be replaced eventually, but I'll probably get through this year with it. Other than that, another upgrade that I have done is I added a yield and moisture sensor. So it's a farm TRX kit. So they build universal kits for basically any combine. If you have a combine, you can probably put a farm TRX yield and moisture kit on it. And then Acre GPS actually built a bridge that will allow you to convert the farm TRX data and put it directly on a John Deere display. So I was running a John Deere Gen 4 display in this last year, and my dad and I were combining in the same field, him with his S770, his 2022 S770, me with my 1980 8820, and we were sharing data in real time between each other, which is really, really cool. So I got the GPS receiver up there on top of the grain tank, and if we hop up in the cab here, it's kind of a mess right now as I've been working on projects, but here's where my monitor gets hooked up. Here's the MTGs to put wirelessly, or to put data on the cloud wirelessly. Here is the plug that goes in the back of the monitor. And I just kind of have it on the floor right now because I'm changing some stuff, but there's the yield monitor box itself. What else we all got in here? Got an ATU 300, so I have auto steer in here. Got real height, blinkers, forward and back to the hydrostat, header height, feeder house engagement, separator engagement, light switch. Here's a header height automatic control. This is called a dial-o-matic, so it works on the soybean head. Actually works really well. I was very impressed with the automatic height control from 1980. Got 4-wheel drive on this thing if you need it. We got cylinder speed, throttle, your different gears. This is real speed. Yeah, I gotta do some work to this cab. I wanna make this cab a little bit nicer. There's a few spots where the soybean dust was leaking in last year, so I wanna get that fixed. This engages the unloading auger. This is the hydraulics for the unloading auger. Nice clear view into the grain tank. I love this old combine. This thing is so much fun to drive, and it's gonna be hard to see, but the way this yield monitoring system works is, here is the moisture sensor on the bottom of the clean grain elevator door. You see it right in there. It's kind of dirty right now. And then I'm probably not gonna be able to see it. But oh, yep, right there. That is a laser eye. There's one on the front and the back side. And that is how it determines what the yield is. It measures the heap of corn or soybeans or whatever grain you have going up the clean grain elevator. So I've made a few pretty in-depth videos on this combine. If you're interested in this thing, definitely go to my channel and look up 8820. We've done quite a few videos. And one of me buying it was pretty awesome. We've obviously had videos of adding all the stuff onto it, repairs, actually combining with it. But yeah, this is, you know, I'm not that sentimental of a guy when it comes, especially when it comes to like equipment and stuff. Like I could sell, other than my Ford 1720, because my grandpa gave me that I'm gonna keep that forever. But everything else, like, you know, if I get bigger, expand, you know, I'll probably sell some stuff, buy some different stuff, whatever. But this is the one thing, I mean, will I get a bigger combine eventually? I hope so. But I'm still probably gonna keep this. Unless this thing like burns to the ground or sends a rod through the bottom of the motor or something, I will probably always have this tucked in the back of a shed somewhere, because I just absolutely love this combine. And it goes to show that, you know, you don't need a $500,000 combine to farm. I paid $9 grand for this thing, and it does a great job. Honestly, the grain quality sample on this is way better than any modern new John Deere I've ever seen. I've never seen one out of Next9, but like all the 700 series, this thing blows it away. In fact, like my soybean bin that I just emptied here out about a month ago, my cousin was helping me put the sweet bogger in. And he's like, where in the heck are all the pods at? The other bin has all these pods in it. I'm like, 8820. This is the 8820 beans. But yeah, here's where the dust diverter goes. Gotta pressure wash this off. We just got it back, but it sucks out dust out of the feeder house and blows it off to the side, because these old conventional combines with the cylinder rather than the rotor, they don't create much suction up at the feeder house. So dust, especially in soybeans, the dust just builds up. You can't see anything. So it was pretty common to put dust diverters on there to create suction, suck the dust up to the feeder house, blow it off to the side so you can actually see what you're doing. So thank you guys for watching. That is basically all my equipment that I have at the moment. There are definitely some things coming and probably some things leaving here in the next year, but as of today, that is what my 220 acre farm has in terms of equipment. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.